All right, Willian.
Progress.
All right, Willian, the floor is yours. God bless you. See you in a minute.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Emerson, can you mute your microphone, please? Because I get some feedback.
All right, okay.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Hi. Can you raise your hand if you see my screen? All right, perfect. So finally, hi. It's a pleasure to be here talking to my friend, Professor Emerson, and his friends. So thank you for having me tonight. Tonight it's 7:40 p.m. to me. So for you, it's like 2:40 p.m., right? I'm 5 hours ahead of you. So thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to share my experience with you, to share what this area of user experience is in technology. This is not supposed to be a lecture. So if you have any question, please raise your hand, interrupt me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. All right, so let's talk about me a little bit. So who am I? I'm a content designer here at Quandoo in Berlin. I am based in Germany. I moved to Berlin last year because I received a job offer to come, and then I came. I'm also under the UX Willian at Instagram, so feel free to follow me. I usually share my personal life here in Berlin and some work content as well. And I'm also a CFO at Horário School, is one online school about design. So we have a lot of courses about UX design and conversational design. So if you are interested about chatbots, about conversational design, Alexa, and everything, feel free to check the website. It's arara.school. Alrighty, so let me talk to you about my journey, how I ended up here. So I have a bachelor's in English linguistics, so I was a teacher. So I was an English teacher in Brasilia. I met Emerson in one of the schools that we worked together. And in my last year of teaching English in Brasilia, I taught Griggs, and I taught the computer subject because I'm a nerd and I was already in the university college. So I was taking the course already. So they asked me to teach computers, and it was amazing. So I feel really good to have taught Griggs, and students are great. From what Emerson tells me, you're great as well. So that's awesome. Good to be back somehow. All right, so after teaching for 10 years, I went back to university. I started studying technology, and then I got a trainee position at IBM. So I started my technology life back in 2017, and then I started as a trainee at IBM, and then I worked with the global team. So even though I was in Brasilia, I worked with IBM London and IBM from all other places. And it was very important for me, folks, because I had English. So in my team in Brasilia, nobody spoke English there back then. So as I spoke English, I opened a lot of doors for me. I could reach out to international teams, I could learn from them, and I could advance in my career there as well. After IBM, I was invited to join a company called Quix there in Brasilia. We worked building 2 chatbots for the state of Piauí. After I left Quix, I went to Guide 121. It's a startup in São Paulo. And I developed chatbots for a lot of interesting places. Do you know Rio Quente Resorts? Raise your hand if you know Rio Quente Resorts. Salinas Maceió, Salinas Maragogi, Rede Tauá. I built chatbots for all these places. So if you go to one of these places, there's a chatbot there called Easy. I was one of the persons developing this chatbot. And then I left Guide to go to Sinch. Sinch is a Swedish company, but I was in Brazil. And then at Sinch, I worked also with chatbots and then writing for user experience. After Sinch, I went to Indeed. It's an American company, but I was also based in Brasilia still. And then I came to Germany to work presentially for Quandoo. I'm also a professor in ESPM and University Vila Velha in Espírito Santo, Arara School, and Awari. So I have courses in these institutions. And I am about to finish my graduate course in UX writing from Belas Artes São Paulo. So that's enough about me. So let's talk about user experience, everyone. So to begin with, I'm gonna talk to you what is not user experience. User experience is not the interface of a screen of a website, of a cell phone application. User experience is not about technology. User experience is not about colors, shapes, and it's not for designers. User experience is about you as a person having one experience as a user. So for example, when you go to a nice restaurant and then you have a good experience, that is user experience. When you buy something online and they deliver to your house fast, they provide a very well way to wrap your thing that you bought, that's also user experience. So user experience is not digital. It can also be physical. And then we have this very famous picture on the internet. We have two bottles of ketchup here. And the one on the left, they usually say, oh, this is the user interface. It's just the shape of the ketchup. And the one on the right, they usually say that it's the user experience, but it's not. Both of these pictures are user's interface. Interface is the way you see the thing. It's the object, it's the shape itself. That's user interface. But then when it comes to user experience, this is what you have. So the first bottle, you don't have control over the ketchup you spill. So maybe you spill more ketchup than you want, or nothing comes out of it. But then on the second part, this screen right here, you have more control over the ketchup and you can put the amount that you really want. So that's user experience. The father of user experience is this little old man called Don Norman. He's still alive because user experience is a very recent subject. He invented user experience in 1994 when he was working at Apple. So he developed the whole user experience story beginning at Apple. And then there's this sentence that I really like, we must design for the way people behave, not for how we would wish them to behave. So pretty much this area about technology is observing users' behavior. So I observe a lot. I don't spend my day coding or on a black screen or anything. I observe my users. I try to understand how I can help them without them noticing. So that's the really point of it. And then when we talk about user experience, we have a lot of professions under user experience, because for us to build something and to provide a good experience, we need to work with a lot of areas. We work with the usability area, which is a group focused for usability, how people use an app, how people do something. For example, how people use Facebook, how people use Twitter. Information architecture is the way we provide the elements of importance on a screen. So I believe everybody from this room uses Instagram, right? Every word, everything on Instagram design was thought to be there. They study the reels, the stories, your profile picture. Everything was studied for you to have the best user experience possible. And come on, Instagram is addictive. If we don't pay attention, when you see it, it's like 2 hours of your day just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you barely feel it. This was also studied. This is a very dark part of the design that we try to keep you engaged on the app. And we have to make sure you come back later. This is also what we do. We also work with content strategy, which is my area, is about communication, text, how we communicate. Service design, it's more about how a person can help a company achieve something. Interaction design is about interactions on a website. So for example, when you create a Reels, you have a journey. You click on the plus, you select the video. After you select the video, you need to confirm, and then you put filters, and then you put music, and then you put the description of your Reels. Every step of this journey was studied by somebody from interaction design. The person was like, I need to know the complete interaction that my user is going to have. This is the professional who creates this journey. And also visual design. Visual is very visual, as it says, is the person who really draws the buttons or the screen and how the picture is going to be on the feed and everything. And then I'm going to give you some data on UX professionals out there. So from 1950 until 1983, we had from 10 to 100 UX professionals in the world. From 83 to 2017, we had 1 million professionals out there. And from 2017 to 2050, the expectation is that we have 100 million professionals by 2050. So it's a lot of people. And then I also brought some data from these companies. There's a company called Atlassian, is a very big company. And take a look at this. In 2012, they had 1 UX professional. And this 1 UX professional had to work with 25 other developers. And developers are programmers. And this changed in 2017. We had 1 UX professional to work with 9 developers. So we had more UX people working in the company, and they were only working with 9 other people. Because when we have to work with 25 people, we probably work in 4 or 5 teams. So this is the ratio that we are seeing increasing. And this is good because they are understanding, when I say they, I say companies, they are understanding that we are essential. And this is the case for IBM. In 2012, they had 1 UX professional to work with 71 professionals, developers. In 2017, they had 1 UX professional to work with 8 programmers. This is really good for us. And then who are the UX professionals? So what do they do? What are they doing with the products and etc.? So we have the UX designer. And the UX designer does user research, design the ideation of the flow, prototypes. It's like creating test screens that you can test. The UX designer also runs usability testing and interaction design. So when we talk about these topics, these are all disciplines that this designer has to do to perform his profession. I could talk about every topic of this this profession, but that would take a lot of time, and we can go really, really further on this topic. The second one, the second UX professional we have is the UX researcher. So this professional is focused on researching actually researching. So they get data, they get user insights, and they collaborate with us. So for example, the company that I work here in Berlin is it's an app that you need to use to book restaurants. In Brazil, it's not normal. In Brazil, it's not normal because you go to restaurants without a reservation, right? Raise your hand if you ever made a reservation in a restaurant. Oh, wow, that's nice. Okay, so that's new. So here in Europe, it's very common to make reservations because you have restaurants with 6 tables. You enter a cafe here, you have 4 tables. If you don't have a reservation, you don't eat, you don't drink. So the company that I work here in Berlin is a company that lets people book restaurants through the app. So what do we do here with UX researchers? I usually go to my UX researchers and I ask them, do you have any data on what is the best time of the month that users make a reservation? Do you know what's the average age of my users? Do you know how many people are in the reservation, the average? Do you know how much they spend per month and per year? So with this data helps me create a better experience for them. So this is how we collaborate with UX researchers. And then we have the product designer. The product designer is the person doing the app, creating the screens, creating everything, and we work together. So me as a UX writer, I work together with UX researchers, with product designers, but the product designer is the person actually creating the screens, the prototyping, the delivering the test as well, and working on a product strategy as well. So for example, did you know that Twitter changed its name to X? Yeah, right? Bummer. Elon Musk, come on. So that's probably a product strategy. Probably that has to do with someone at X telling Musk that, hey, why don't we change our name to X? Or why don't we, okay, let me give you another example. From Instagram, they started selling the verification blue thing, right? Did you know that? Okay. Oh, you know, right? You know, right? So what did Instagram do to us? This is really interesting, guys. Instagram, for a lot of years, they put in our head, whoever has the blue verification thing is a very important person. And they did this for free for only people who are actually famous, right? So all the famous people, Neymar, Anita, all these people, they had the blue sign because they are important. And then one day Instagram says, hey, do you want to buy the blue sign and be verified? So the strategy that Instagram is doing is, do you want to pay 55 reais per month and feel important? That is your chance. So this is what Instagram is doing, and this is a product strategy. So this was thought since the beginning. They created this image. Whoever has the blue sign is important, and they kept this for years, and then now they're selling it. So this is a product strategy. And then there's me, UX writer. So I write. So if you open your favorite application on your phone, if you remove all the words, the app is going to be really complicated, isn't it? That is what I do. I write everything in the app. Buttons, text, titles, menus, configuration. And my writing is not supposed to be beautiful, impeccable. I don't know what adjectives I could use here. but my writing has to be simple. I have to make you understand what you're doing. So for example, when you cancel something or when you delete something, I need to write very clear messages on what you're doing. Because sometimes I even saw on the internet a dialogue box, and the button was like, do you want to cancel the cancellation? And I was like, what? Do you want to do what? So it's a very important thing to do is the writing. And this is what I do. So I work with the content strategy of the app. I work with the content creation of the app. I work with the tone and a voice of the app. So every platform has a way of communicating on the internet or in the app. And this is what we do here as UX writers. So I don't know if you are interested, but let's talk about money. This is the salary of a UX designer in Brazil. This is the average. So I don't know if this attracts to you. So this is the combination of 1,680 salaries people provided, and the average is this. And we have a lot of positions in Brazil. This one, for example, is for product designers. There are 1,653 product designers positions open in Brazil. So this is really interesting. And this is the thing, guys. You don't need to do university to do this. You can, so you can have foundation, background, but it's not truly necessary. The technology field is very different from the others because as long as you solve a problem, you're hired. I have a friend in my company. He's also Brazilian. He's living here in Berlin, and he's a developer. He's a programmer. He doesn't have university. He has high school only. And he has a very good position here because he solves the problem. He's really intelligent. And we usually joke because he says that for us, the rest of the company to sleep, he works. Because if anything goes wrong, he's the one the company calls. They call him, hey, could you please solve the problem because it's complicated right now. So he's the guy. And then consider abroad. I don't know. Raise your hand if you want to leave Brazil and work here in Europe or in the United States. 1, 2, only 2 people want to leave Brazil? Okay, some more hands. So these are the people that I helped. I also do mentorships for these people. And this first guy, I helped him get into the field. So he was working with a company in Brasilia, and he said, Willian, I like UX. Can you tell me what I need to do to start working with it? So we worked together, a lot of calls. He's my personal friend in Brasilia. So while we were playing video games, I was talking to him. So now he's a senior UX writer as me, and he works in a global company from the agriculture field. These 2 girls, I helped them get into a company in Israel, but they live in Brazil. They didn't go to Israel, but they received their salary in dollars. So it's another great thing, right? Because their salary is multiplied by 5. And I also helped these 3 people. Leticia, she's working at Mercado Livre right now. Igor, who works for a company in South America, and Melody, she came to Germany this year. She came to a city called Düsseldorf. So we talked, and then she got a position, and the same as me. The company offered her everything. Come to Germany. I offer you a contract, a work. I will pay your flight ticket. I will pay your visa, everything. And then the conclusion of this talk is UX is a new discipline in the IT field. We need professionals. And you see, I'm not talking about programming, learning code. I tried. It's complicated. I know the basics. It's not for me. I'm a very communicative person. And programmers, they have that stereotype that they're like closed in their computer, just working. I'm a people's person. I need to talk, to collaborate, to work in teams. So I found myself in this position here. So now it's time for questions, but I think, Emerson, we have 20 seconds of your Zoom link. Do you want to create another one so we can wrap up?
So I'm gonna stop recording.